Today what we're going to look at is how do we solve systems of equations using graphing. Now up here I have this example problem. 2x plus y equals 5 and x plus 2y equals 7. Now you guys already know how to solve these problems using substitution and elimination, but today we're going to learn how to solve these problems using graphing. So the idea and the strategy behind solving a system of equations using graphing is that we graph both lines and find the intersection point or points within our graph. And every place that our lines intersect, that's basically a solution to our system of equations. So let's get started. This first equation, 2x plus y equals 5, let's just create a XY table in order to graph this chart. So if I have x and y, if x is 0, then y in this case would be 5. Right? If x is 1, then in this case y would be 3. If x is 2, y becomes 1. And if x is 3, y becomes -1. So let's plot these points on our graph. And let's do this in blue. So we have 0, up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1 and 3. We have 2 and 1. And we have 3 and -1. So we get the shape of a line that looks something like that. There's our first line. Now for the second line, let's take a look at x plus 2y equals 7. And we'll do the same thing. We'll create an xy table. Although if you want to do this in y equals mx plus b form, you're welcome to do that as well. If x is 0, y is a little bit tricky. Y is going to be 3.5, 3.5, or 7 over 2. If x is 1, then y becomes 3. Right? We have 1 here, so 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. If x is 2, y becomes 2.5. So let's go ahead and plot those points on our graph, and let's do that in red. So at 0, 3.5 is our first point. We have 1, 3. Well, looks like we have one of our answers right there. We have 2 and 2.5, which is right there, and you can sort of see our red line coming down like that. Now the last thing we have to do is find the intersection point, which we've already found. It's right here. And this point is 1, 3. So our answer for our system of equations in this case is going to be x equals 1 and y equals 3. Okay guys, so what we're going to do now is take a look at a problem that you probably won't know how to graph, but we can use some cool software to help us graph it and solve the problem using graphing. So if we look at this problem, it says find the solutions for y squared plus 2x plus 3 squared equals 10, and 2x plus y equals 1. We can see that one of these we can graph for sure. This linear equation we can graph. But most of you probably don't have the tools or the knowledge to graph this ellipse yet. So what I'm going to show you today is how to use Desmos to help us solve a question like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this website, desmos.com, and it's basically an online graphing calculator. So the nice thing is it can graph pretty much anything you can throw at it, as long as it makes sense. And you can put multiple graphs on this online graphing calculator. So what I'm going to put here is the first equation, which is y power 2 plus bracket 2x plus 3 power 2 equals 10. And you can see they've already put up the graph. So this is what we call an ellipse. It's kind of like an oval, a long circle shape. And we want the second graph, so that's going to be 2x plus y equals 1. And there you can see the blue line. And Desmos nicely shows us, okay, the blue line, that's this one over here. The red line, that's the ellipse over here. If we zoom in, we can even see where they intersect, right? So Desmos is smart enough to show us, hey, this blue line and this red line, they intersect at -1, 3, as well as 0, 1. So those would be the solutions to our system of simultaneous equations, right? We've got 0, 1, and we've got -1, 3. So Desmos is a really good tool to check your answer when you have problems figuring out, hey, did I get the right answer on this question? And it can really help you out. One final thing to note, when I put in these exponents in Desmos, I had to use a caret. So when you're doing it in Desmos, let me switch back over to, say, Word. So if I'm doing the caret, it's basically Shift 6 on your keyboard, right? It looks like this. So when I'm typing it in Desmos, what I would want to write is y caret 2, right? And once you hit that space bar or put the next symbol, Desmos will automatically convert it into an exponent, which is what we want. Okay? Okay, guys, so as a practice problem, I'd like you guys to take a look at these two problems, y equals x squared minus 2 and y equals 2x plus 1. And using Desmos, solve this system of equations. I also want you to draw the graph, basically copy the graph from Desmos into your notes, and label both y-intercepts of the graph and the solution points of the graph. So there might be 1 or 2 solution points for this graph. All right, see you guys tomorrow.